A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to reopen investigation and prosecution of those suspected to have murdered the founder of Newswatch Magazine, Dele Giwa, in 1986. While delivering judgment in a suit filed by the Incorporated Trustees of Media Rights Agenda, Justice Inyang Ekwo held that the Chief Law Officer of the Federation is under obligation to prosecute and penalize killers of media practitioners in the country. Judiciary correspondent Celestina Iria reports.
According to International Press Institute, a total of 45 journalists were killed globally in connection with their work in 2021. Also, a 2021 Press Freedom Report revealed that the media industry recorded 7 unresolved killings, 300 violations and abuses, affecting 500 journalists, media workers, and media houses since 2015 under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari.
And sustaining population immunity.
Some of these journalists are Zachariah Issa, reporter for Nigerian Television Authority in Borno State. He was killed by Boko Haram insurgents. Bayo Onhu, he worked for The Guardian as a political reporter and assistant news editor. He was killed in Lagos in 2009. Chodoi Salem, reporter with Vanguard newspaper, he was declared missing and later found dead in November 2021. One among many unresolved murders of journalists is that of Dele Giwa, editor and founder of Newswatch Magazine. He was killed by parcel bomb in his home at Ikeja, Lagos in 1986. Now, Justice Inyang Ekwo has ordered the federal government to reopen its case and commence prosecution. Apart from Dele Giwa, the court ordered the killings of other journalists in the discharge of their lawful duties must be investigated and perpetrators brought to book in line with the provisions of the law. The federal government has been ordered to ensure adequate protection and safety of lives of journalists as enshrined in Section 39 and 33 of the Constitution and Articles 4 and 9 of the African Charters on Human and People's Rights. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on the suits, the Executive Director, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, CACOL, Debo Adeniro, joins me on the news. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7. Well, it's almost 38 years since the murder of Dele Giwa. How do you react to the court order for the AGF to reopen prosecution of his killers? Are we about to see justice being done?
Exactly. I'm highly elated when I heard the news, and I feel that at last Nigeria is getting out of bondage of unresolved murders and disappearances that characterized this political landscape in the 80s and 90s. And as a matter of fact, the victims of Decree 4, of 1986 or thereabouts, had done so much havoc on the matters relating to press freedom than any other country in Africa, where even if your story is true, as long as the government of the then military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, and even before then, the regime of Muhammadu Buhari and Tunde Idiagbon as military government would not want you to say things that are true, even if everybody believes so. And once they discover that what you have written is capable of embarrassing the government, they will take you in and detain you almost permanently, renewable for a period of 6 months on each occasion. And that was the situation where many of those unresolved murders were committed against the Nigerian people, against the Nigerian press. The high-tech murder of Dele Giwa was like a watershed in the annals of political and social murder in this country. Nobody expected it. Nobody expected that somebody could be traced. As a matter of fact, even Dele Giwa himself was said, according to Soyinka, Kayode Soyinka, who was with him, that he didn't even consider, he didn't look at the parcel as being suspicious, delivered by a dispatch rider. He had no reason to suspect that such a thing could happen because it has not been reported anywhere in Africa that such high-tech murder was committed. He took it at his dining desk and, his library desk, and opened it with innocent mind. And that innocence became shattered as soon as the thing exploded. He was to be savaged, but all his body, from torso down the leg, had been destroyed. Even if he survived it, he could have remained a vegetable for the rest of his life. But then before then, there are some events. There are some events that point. Yeah.
Indeed, Mr. Adeniro, especially if you think about what is recorded as his final words about the fact that they had killed him, being translated from the way he said it in Yoruba to his wife while he was being taken to hospital there. But then this order of the court also involves that killings of journalists should be probed. I mean, journalists who are carrying out their lawful duties. How do you place this side-by-side effort to regulate social media in Nigeria?
Well, the effort to regulate social media is also about keeping information, disinformation at bay, really. Because there is no any society that is not regulated, we experience anarchy. And that anarchy is gradually creeping into the media world through unfettered access to social media. Of course, as journalists and as mass communicators, there should be some ethical guidelines that will inform what goes to the public. Because there are several occasions that information provided by the social media are turned out to be a product of creative mind of mischief makers. Sometimes when political actors begin to do their work, you will find it difficult to separate the falsehood from the truth. And that is the minimal regulation we believe that that profession needs. We had once called on LUJ and several veteran professionals that there should be a way of organizing those that are engaging in social media coverage and the rest of it, that there should be guidelines on how news are pushed into the public space so that people will not consume falsehood as truth, so that we will not ditch ourselves into a state of anarchy over things that didn't happen. Sometimes there have been social media actors who go to other countries to pick photographs and present it to us in Nigeria as if it's a recent happening.
I hear you, Mr. Adeniro. Yes, I hear you indeed, but I'm afraid that's just a much would be able to take. Perhaps, there'll be some other time to continue the conversation. Executive Director,
we have not told enough story of Dele Giwa.
Anti-corruption and open leadership. Thank you very much, Dele Giwa, for joining us on the news at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.